Welcome to day 6 of Losh, and in today's video we're going to be ranking the Halloween Horror Nights tribute stores that have been around for the past 10 years. That's right, 2025 marks the 10-year anniversary of the tribute store at HHN, so we're going to be ranking every single one since 2015, Halloween Horror Nights wise that is, not including the Mardi Gras or the Holiday store or even the Summer stores, just the HHN stores. I will say we've seen some amazing stores, and we've seen some lackluster stores. But that doesn't mean that not all these stores were loved and cared for while they were being created. You have to think about the fact that we went from being in the Twister gift shop, to then being in the Mummy extended queue, to then being in different locations. It's kind of crazy when you really think about how much the store has changed over the years. But for right now, we're going to go straight into this, going off of our first store. That is my number 10. And that's going to be 2016. Now this is the first store we had in the Mummy extended queue. The store itself was very plain. Now, if you look at the tribute store in recent years, you'll see that there's a lot of detail, a lot of little things. In this 2016 store, it was basically the beginning. So we essentially had the similar layout where it's room by room by room. However, instead of having huge IP involvement in the little things or huge original stories, we just had standees. So you had a standee for Krampus, a standee for Halloween, and a standee for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Don't get me wrong, it looked really nice and it looked very great for the time. However, it just wasn't the best store. And you can see where they wanted to plant the seeds for future stores within this store itself. Following that, we have my number 9, and that is going to be the 2017 store. Now, this is directly after 2016, obviously, for obvious reasons. This is when they started to get their footing. If you look at this store in comparison to the last store, you can see there's more details. There's more little things everywhere. It's not just the standees, but it's sections around the standees that are creating an atmosphere. In the last store, it was just the poster and then the character. Here, it's poster, character, scenic props around them. Huge difference in comparison to this year to the year prior. But 2017, I feel like, was the step that Horror Nights needed to improve the tribute store altogether and make it a more cohesive experience for something like this. And now we move to my number 8, and this is going to be a very simple choice. This is 2015, the very first tribute store we've ever had. Now, for some people, this would probably be their number 10 or the bottom of the list. However, this store was so initiative. This store brought so much together. This felt like what a tribute store is now. So this paid homage to the past 25 years of HHN within this one store. And truthfully, it was fantastic to see all the props from past HHN houses or from past HHN events. Honestly, seeing all the merchandise, being confined into this very small location showed that the scenic design team for the tribute store can do such a good job with so many things in the near future. Now granted, the 2 years after this were kind of stepping stones to get them in the right direction, but right after those 2 years they hit a stride and did not stop going at all. Now going to my number 7, we go to 2018, and this store, it was another IP based store. However, I was really excited for this one because my favorite film, if you guys didn't know, you'll know now, is Trick or Treat. And seeing this in a tribute store was kind of surreal. It was really cool, and it was nice to see the whole photo op walls, and like I've said, the evolution of the tribute store starting to happen right in front of our eyes, because that 2016 store and the 2017 store started leading to stores that are more cohesively themed and having a harder, all together looking feel to them. So it's really nice to see that start to happen here. We have that orange and black wall for photo ops. We have the Stranger Things room for photo ops as well. It was just so nice, and truly is the start of making the tribute store a spectacle for fans to go to. So it's not just the haunted houses, it's the tribute stores and the haunted houses. And now going to my number 6, we have something that is kind of mind-boggling, but the latest tribute store 2024 is the one that kind of left me baffled and lost for words, because there is a completely cohesive original story. It's honestly really cool. If you actually went through the store, you would see that it's really nice. However, this had no tie-in to the event whatsoever. So there was no cohesive tissue, and I mean at all. The scare zone that was outside of the tribute store didn't even have any mix in with the actual tribute store. It felt weird, it felt off. For the past few years, the store, at least the facade, would match the scare zone, but not even this year. It was weird. It might have been a last minute switch, but nonetheless, I did enjoy this store. I thought it was really nice. I love the small details. However, there's other stores that came too that I thought were miles better. And now I move to my number 5, which is 2022's tribute store. And might I say, I love the facade for this one. I love the overall theme for this store. It's great that it's basically a dark ride and you're riding the dark ride and you see all these different elements. I love the use of animatronics. It was a perfect blend of an original store. This was really like peak when it comes down to tribute store design. I feel like it was fantastic. It was one of the best stores I've ever seen. And truthfully, if you would have asked me in 2022 what my favorite tribute store was, I might have told you this one after my first walkthrough of it. However, I do think there are better stores, but this store is beautiful and I loved all the small details within there. It was just fantastic. This now moves me to my number 4, and that's going to be 2021's tribute store. Now this store was beautiful. When I tell you they had a gorgeous facade, I mean it. The facade itself was a house or a manor per se, and the stained glass with tribute store on it was beautiful. You walk in, the first thing you're greeted with is HHN Bear. There was an entire room dedicated to HHN icons, and of course you guys didn't know, this was for the 30th anniversary of HHN altogether, so being the 5-year anniversary of HHN tribute stores, but not really. 5 years of traditional HHN tribute stores. We'll get to that one very soon, but this is fantastic. The attention to detail in the store was great. I love being able to walk through and see the statue bust of the icons, as well as the icons like images moving on the portraits. It was a great touch. It was fantastic. We are now in the top 3 of tribute stores, and at number 3 we have 2019. This is the store where I think it clicked for all of them. For the entire tribute store team, I think this is the moment they learned, hey, let's make beautiful stores. Because not only did this have IP involvement, but there was also original take in here as well. As the moment you walked in, of course there was no facade yet, it was just truss work. But the moment you walk in, you're just immersed with this ticket booth. And you see a bunch of multiple things. Like you walk in, you see Ghostbusters right away. It's glorious. After Ghostbusters, you go ahead and see Stranger Things, and then you're finishing it all up with the Universal Monsters, meaning that the big 3 IPs that were featured at the event were here, making it very nice for the fitting send-off for IP-based tribute stores. As of right now, this was the last technical IP-based tribute store that we've ever had. We now move to my number 2, and this is a caveat, it's 2020's tribute store. Now this isn't a Halloween Horror Nights tribute store because there was no Halloween Horror Nights that year. However, there was seasonal offerings allowing us to go through haunted houses and things of that nature. This store, let me tell you, the whole room with the pumpkins and Jack, beautiful. The entire tribute store was beautiful. This would have been our tribute store for HHN 30, and the more I think about that, the more I think that would have been perfect. And that's not me saying that I didn't like the store that we got for 30, I just feel like this store was a lot better than that store. Being in, it was an entire, look at how nice this is, look at our history, instead of, hey, here's a house with some random things thrown in it. This was perfect. It was my favorite tribute store at the time. But my number 1 is the one and only 2023 tribute store, Tribute to Terror. Now, the facade for this was beautiful. It was essentially McPherson's comic books, and then the deeper you got into the store, the more you saw you were walking through a comic book yourself. And it was beautiful. Seeing the pages come to life, it felt like a haunted house without scares. It was literally what I've always imagined a tribute store to be. Today, to this day, to be exact, there has not been a tribute store that has compared to this. I think this is the best tribute store, period. Which means that I think this was better than any holiday store we've had, Mardi Gras store, or even summer store. Now, this store is just fantastic. And when I tell you this, it's not just me saying it, it's the attention to detail. We got the return of Boris Schuster. We got the introduction of a brand new character in the Curator. And these stories can be adapted into quite literally anything. It was so cool to see, and the fact that we also got a comic book based off of this tribute store too was amazing. This was the best store, and I wish we would see more things like this, which has me all in all excited to see what happens with this year's tribute store. Now, we do have a brand new store along the way. There have been some teasers that came out today, exactly to be exact. Skipper Haas put out a tweet with some pictures, and quite literally everything is pointing at Sahara Traders. As I'll put up a picture that HHN Speculation Matt put up today. Some things have started to move, and they're also conveniently closing the Mummy for a couple days next week. I wonder why, I don't know, but I'm very curious to see how this plays out, what happens with this store. I know that the space that they're possibly going to be in, based off of what we see, is going to be very limited. However, I have so much trust in them. Look at the first store, look at how far we've gone. If you look at the 2015 store and look at the 2024 store, you see the amount of detail that has been added, the amount of original care that has gone into these stores, and truthfully, Universal has not let us down at all. This was a great time to talk about it. I feel like this year's Tribute Store will be fun no matter what we do. I hope the storyline's good, I hope it ties into the event. If it doesn't, who cares? We're gonna have a great time regardless. Nonetheless, I'm so excited for this year's Tribute Store, and I wanna know, what are your favorite Tribute Stores? Even if it's just your top 3, not everything ranked, I wanna know, I'm just curious. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below your favorite Tribute Stores. Subscribe if you guys already haven't done so, and stay excellent, my dudes.